I would be, I would probably be kicked out of the house if I didn't mention the famous words from my husband, who sells a ton. So he is in charge of the film company that I work with. He does all the marketing. So he said, everybody, tell all the girls, they must know this. They must know this. 3 things they must know is, oh, let me read it off. I even took notes from him. And he said, you must have discovery, conversion, and retention in order for you to be successful in sales. First, people must discover you. And we all know this is going to be through reels. This is going to be through working with bookstagrammers and this and that. But then you've got to have the conversion. You've got to convert somebody into actually wanting to read your book. And so that's being able to put yourself out there of maybe signing events, launches, going to places, being in person a lot of times with that, or doing, you know, the giveaways and such. And then there's the retention. It's, you got to tell your story and you got to be that personable person that people want to relate to. People want to actually become part of your world and keep pulling them in. So they continue to become fans, and you get, I'm not going to lie, I was scared to death. Somebody missent me a bag of marbles and I thought somebody had sent it because of my books, but the cursed marble story is a whole nother thing for another time. But you never know, you might get some psychotic fans that might start sending you stuff to your house. But again, I digress. But so those 3 things, like thinking about how you want to set yourself up, your brand, discovery, conversion, retention, finding out those 3 things is going to be able to make you so much successful in your book writing. You must have those 3 and figure out which of those 3 is going to work for you. Like that's the most important thing I can potentially say here with it. But here's the ticket though. Your story is unique, so your marketing should be too. Now, I will say this, we are in a sea of books. There's so many authors, and honestly, it's a beautiful thing because now so many more voices and stories get told. But it also makes it that much more difficult to get yourself out there, to get known. Like, why does your story differ from this other story? I had the little old lady is telling me, they were like, well, haven't these stories been written before? And I'm like, yeah, they have. It's just but you get a different spin to them. Like, you're never going to, you can't read the same fantasy book unless you just literally copy and paste. They're all unique. Thrillers are all different. Everyone's all different, which is amazing. But when you have like, let's say an author convention, so you have to think, you see tables, you see the whole setup. How in the world are you going to stand out against all the genres that are all the same? And I figured out a random way of doing this is you look at what everybody else is marketing with and you say, no, I am going to do my own thing and be my own person, which is what I've done. And so what I tested out my theories. I like to be a little experimental. I can't help it. I like to play experiments. And it's just kind of fun to go against the grain. I've always been that type of, like, when there's a rule, I say why. Why is it this way? And so I might be the reason that my parents have grays or either balding, one of the 2. But I decided to go to a festival, and it was with another author. Luckily, she was a different genre. And we split the tent at this festival because it was like $500 to go to this festival at IIEI's, you know, expenses. It's expensive to be an indie. And so she had a banner, like the typical author stand-up banner, picture, books, little sayings, and all these kind of things on the outside. So you know this is an author. Yes, like nice, sweet beach romance, come visit. I instead got my artist who does all my character art. She does beautiful. I'm going to stand up for a second and be right back. And hey, I got my artist to make me a Star Wars poster. So I was like, this is what I want. And I stuck that out in front of the tent, and I sat back and I didn't do any recruiting, and I had people coming in. because your people are going to know who you are, like fantasy. I love fantasy fans. They just know, like, you put something out there like that, they're like, yeah, that's fantasy. I'm coming for it.